Sam's cup of tea. Sam's cup of tea.
Hello and welcome to Sam's Cup of Tea. Today I'm going to discuss Brazilian Jiu Jitsu after 6 months. I actually study in Korea. I started in Korea in Busan. And I'm a 1-stripe white belt. So starting Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I wanted to do it for about, a good 2 years. I'd have been meaning to do it, but I was living in Thailand at the time and the gym was so far away in Bangkok. So when I moved to Korea, I was here for a little bit working out at the gym and I was a little bit afraid to start, to be honest. I was a little bit reluctant to begin. It just seemed like an expensive endeavor. I wanted to get my finances in order and find a gym that I could get to relatively easily. And earlier this year, I sort of bit the bullet and decided to go to my first class. Now, obviously, starting the first day was, I showed up on like a sort of Korean holiday. So there were barely any people there. And I came on a Saturday. So my first day was an open mat with 2 black belts, purple belts, and I don't think there was anyone below purple belt actually. And I just got smashed. I just wore some shorts and a t-shirt, and that was it. Every session is, warm up, workout, drilling techniques, and then sparring for, a good 40 minutes every single session. And doing that on a consistent basis with people who don't really speak my language, 90% of the school don't, has really given me a good sense of self-belief that, Christ, if I can do that, I can do other things. I've had some down moments, of course, moments where your ego gets a little bit bruised. And obviously I expected that. I'd done a lot of research following the Joe Rogan podcast and the Jocko Willink podcast. They talk about it. And Sam Harris, who I'm a big fan of, he's a big proponent of jiu-jitsu. And it is all about destroying the ego to kind of build it up, but not really taking yourself seriously. And there isn't a lot of macho-ness in the gym, which has surprised me over the time. I've met very few people who take themselves very, very seriously. There seems to be no space for hubris on the mat, because you just won't survive. And the ones that do carry that sense of self-importance don't seem to last long. But there have been times where I have kind of felt a bit butthurt or a bit like, damn it. And it's more frustration with myself when, I might gas out and run out of energy, or I just make stupid mistakes that I know are not right. One thing I've learned is to be patient with your own body. You'll learn techniques and drill techniques, and it just takes a lot of time and repetition for your body to be able to do that movement correctly in the moment in a sparring match. Because this isn't the kind of martial art where you can live in a delusion, because you will drill a move and maybe your partner is being very participatory and being very cooperative, allowing you to grab his neck and allowing you to pull him to the ground. And in a lot of martial arts, that's as far as it goes. So you kind of walk away from class like, what? That's great. I did the headlock, and if someone came up to me on the street, that's what I'd use. But then you have to go straight from that drilling into sparring. And that's when you realize how difficult it is to actually do anything to somebody who's resisting you. And it provides you an insight into just how useful the jiu-jitsu moves are and the techniques. Because once you know them and you get them right, they can be the difference between you getting choked out and not. And it can be the difference between you having an advantage. There are defensive techniques, and I'm still learning the basics. I'm still learning how to build my ground guard up. I'm not that great with the terms. I'm not that great with loads of submissions. Sometimes when I get full mount, I only know a couple of things that I really could do, and but those things that I know really do work if you get the right timing and the right moment to do it and the right technique. So it really does, you realize just how useful it is. And now when a new person comes in, I mean, I still get that nervous feeling like, you know, I'm now a one stripe. So because I've got to prove that I can beat this person, and usually the technique is what gives me the advantage. And it's I'm not necessarily stronger than them. Sometimes you are, but even when you're not, they might be really holding onto your wrist with all their strength, and it's like, geez, they're strong, but they don't have the technique. They don't know how to defend from you passing their guard, and they find it very difficult to get past my guard, and my guard isn't very good at all. So you have moments where, I have had moments where I felt like I hadn't learned anything in like 3 weeks. I just felt like I'd maybe gone backwards, and then you'll go against somebody less experienced and realize, no, actually I definitely have improved, and people around you will comment and say you've improved, you've gotten a lot better, which is reassuring. But the amount of time I've been going, that you notice a switch. So at the beginning, everyone will tell you, if you do any research about jiu-jitsu, about not, don't have an ego, don't take anything personally. You're going to get submitted a lot. And during the entirety of white belt, you'll probably get submitted 90% of the time. And that is true. That does happen. Now, at the beginning, I found that quite easy. Not easy to get submitted, but easy not to take it personally, because I'd prime myself. I'd sort of said, no, I'm not an expert in martial arts. I'm not the strongest guy in the world either. So I'm not expecting to beat these people anyway. So at the beginning, I don't think that's the difficult part necessarily. It is demoralizing not to have much skill, but I think it's when you start getting an accolade, even just one stripe, because I've noticed that once I got the one stripe, I all of a sudden felt like, well, I have to hold my own at the very least against a non-stripe white belt. If there's a new guy in the gym, I get nervous to, and I've caught myself feeling like that. And I had a couple of weeks like that where I was just anxious about sort of somebody else seeing me and going, oh, look, he's a one-stripe white belt and he's getting destroyed. But then you realize very quickly that is counterintuitive, and that is a downward spiral into not enjoying sessions, or just spending a lot of it feeling anxious. So I've kind of dropped that now, and now I just have this attitude where I go in relaxed and I stay relaxed, and I just enjoy it and pick up what I can. And there are some sparring sessions with certain people that are just always going to be naturally intense. Now, you'll find this if you join the gym, that after a certain amount of time, when you've been there, and if you roll with the same people every week, you will sort of create these little kind of healthy rivalries. So the people that you get on with the most in the gym. So there are like two in particular in my gym that sort of I get on really well, and we're at similar levels. So we're both one stripe white belts. We started at similar times. And sometimes he will submit me, and sometimes I will submit him, and the sparring sessions are very neck and neck and very even, and they will be intense. They will be some of the most intense sparring that you do, and so we sort of avoid each other sometimes because we don't want that intensity. But rolling with higher belts is usually a lot more safer and a lot more stable, it feels like. I mean, sometimes not, but most of the time they have such control and such grace that it's about you trying to just pass the guard, trying to do things, and they will sort of help you. And some people will give you commentary like, do this, do that. Sometimes you get guys that are a purple belt and they just enjoy smashing you every single time. And I just don't let it discourage me. I just do my best. But in those moments you can sort of try and relax a little bit more, because you know that you're not going to win. So you can think, right, you know what? This time I'm just going to try and not get submitted for like 2 minutes, right, as opposed to 1. and I'm going to try 3 minutes, try to get through the 3 of the 5 minutes of sparring without him submitting me. Or I'm going to try and, I don't know, I'm going to try this move. I'm going to try and go this way and this way. So you have to bring your attitude to each sparring, each jiu-jitsu lesson. But yeah, it's been really, really great, and I love it. And obviously I've got every intention to carry on. But yeah, if you're thinking of joining, I highly recommend you do. And the initial anxiety of starting is a real thing, but trust me when I say that in my gym there are many. It's such a diverse cast of people in terms of age range, sex. We have older guys, middle-aged guys, young girls, middle-aged girls. I haven't seen many older women, but we've got a few women in there, and we've got younger kids and sort of teenage level as well. And just everybody gels together, and everybody finds something to gain out of it. It doesn't feel like there's any exclusivity at all. You know, we have the guys that are like the pro ones that are just like smashing tournaments and just like well ahead of the curve. And then you've got people like me who are a little bit more like casual, but trying to get better and better and better. And it's just a really inclusive time, and I'm very much enjoying it. So the next step for me is I'm hoping to soon get my second stripe. I'm trying to just learn more of the basics. Obviously, the further I get along with the progression, the more I want to feel like I've earned it, like I know the very, very basics before I start trying to learn advanced moves. And I know I've got a long way to go. But there have been some competitions, and I hope to compete maybe next year for the first time. But I just want to do a bit more preliminary stuff. But yeah, that's my experience after 6 months of jiu-jitsu. If that's helped you, I hope so. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. And I'm thinking maybe of doing a video about what you need to start jiu-jitsu, things you need, like items you should get, and recommended things. If you think I should do a video about that, please put it in the comment below. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Sam, and this is Sam's Cup of Tea. Goodbye.